Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you all the art supplies that I love to use. As a beginner artist, it's important for me to find a good ratio of quality and price for all the supplies I buy. And I think that so far I've managed to get really good supplies for an affordable price that will also last me a very long time. So I'm going to show you why these are my personal favorites and what is their cost, so that you can make a judgment on if they would work for you or not. Before I start, I just want to say that this video is not sponsored by any of the brands I mention in any way. These are just really my honest opinions of all the art supplies that, as you can see from my other videos, I use them constantly, and since this week the weather has been extremely cold and I can't even sit down to draw because my fingers have been freezing, I thought this would be a good idea for a video that can still provide value and allow me to share some of these budget-friendly art supplies. With that out of the way, let's get started. This is the Pentel Pocket brush pen. I'll be showing some of the sketches I've made with it. I love to draw with the brush pen and I use this one all the time. The brush allows for a variety of line weights depending on the pressure applied to the pen while drawing. It's quite small, so it's great to carry around. You can get it from $8 to $14 depending on the vendor, and it usually comes with 2 ink cartridges. You can buy separate ink cartridges to keep recharging the pen, but what I actually do is refill the ink cartridges so that I don't have to keep buying new recharges. And this is the ink I use. This is the Winsor & Newton black ink on a 30mm bottle, and it cost me just around 10 bucks. It has been working great for me and it seems good quality. I can't really compare it to more expensive brands of ink because this is the first one I bought and it dries relatively fast and it is waterproof. To recharge the brush pen, since there's no converter for it, I use the small syringe to transfer the ink from the bottle to the cartridge. I don't remember the price of the syringe, but they're pretty cheap and you can get one in any local pharmacy. Still on the brush pens, I recently got these Tombow Fudenosuke brush pens, and one has a hard tip and the other has a softer tip. The softer tip is a lot smaller than the Pentel Pocket brush pen, so it allows for more control when making lines, while still offering some variation in the line weight. The hard tip works more like a normal pen, but it still has some line variation. I haven't used them a lot since I got them recently, but so far I've been really enjoying them. You can get a package with both of these for around $6. This might be my favorite pen of all time. Mine looks a little rough because I borrowed it to my mom and she gave it back to me looking like this, but anyway. I've used it for years in school. It was always my favorite pen to write with, and now it's my favorite to do sketches with. It just feels really great to use no matter what it's been used for. The ink is waterproof and flows nicely, so it's great for ink and watercolor sketches. You can get these usually at any stationery store and they cost something between $2 and $3, and they can last quite a while. Next, I've been using the Winsor & Newton Cotman watercolor set since I started working with watercolors. This set has 16 colors and it costs around $30. I don't have a way to compare them to artist grade watercolors, since they're the only ones I've used so far, but for the price and variety of colors you get, I think it's a great set. It's been great to use them as I learn more and more about how to use watercolors. Every single ink and watercolor sketch that I've made has been done with these watercolors. They're great to use on your sketchbook or if you want to try watercolors but you don't want to spend a lot of money on a set. As for brushes, I first bought this set of Winsor & Newton foundation brushes, and this particular brush set costs around $8 and has a round 3 and 5, a filbert 2 and a flat 4. These are synthetic brushes and they're very good quality in my opinion, but they're quite small. Even to use on a sketchbook they don't cover large areas very well, but they're really great for details and medium areas. So to cover bigger areas, I bought these two Winsor & Newton Cotman brown brushes, number 10 and number 12. The number 10 cost me around $11 and the number 12 cost me $13. So the two of them together were $24. A bit more pricey for just two brushes, but so far I've been very pleased with them. However, I tend to use the number 10 a lot more than the number 12 because I mostly work on my sketchbooks, so I don't feel the need to use the bigger brush. And for most of the things, the number 10 suits me fine. So if I had to buy them again, I would get the foundation set of smaller brushes and the round 10 from this Cotman series. I'll be honest, I don't know how easy this set of pencils will be to get. I personally bought them on Spanish Amazon and this set cost me just $7. I also have this set of 12 pencils from Staedtler, and it cost me $19. So it's a significant difference. This cheaper set was from a brand called Blendura, in case you want to search for them. And to be honest, I didn't really notice that much of a difference between these two sets. I just get this cheaper set if you can find it. There's a wide range of softness and hardness, going from 6H to a chunky 12B. These were the pencils I used when I started learning how to draw, so I'm very fond of them. If you can find these, you can never go wrong with Staedtler. They're high quality and they come in with this cool metal case. I also have this mechanical pencil from Staedtler, which I use for any initial pencil sketch I make before switching to ink. So I don't have any examples to give of drawings I made with it since I erased the pencil lines, but this 0.5mm mechanical pencil cost me just around $5. And it came with this case of extra refills, plus 3 of those refills were already inside the pencil, so this will last me for a very long time, and it's from a good brand, so it was a great deal. Now for the sketchbooks, I first got this Canson watercolor sketchbook when I started experimenting with ink and watercolor sketches. It cost me just under $6 and it has 20 sheets of paper. It's an A5 and the watercolor paper is 300 GSM and weighs 140 pounds. I'd say this is a great sketchbook if you're just starting out and want some quality while also not spending a lot of money. I like the paper on the sketchbooks I'm using now more, as I'll show you in a second, but as you can see, I filled this entire sketchbook and got a great value out of it. Its low price will allow you to experiment as much as you want, since you don't have to worry about wasting expensive pages. So I got this set of 3 of watercolor Spyler A5 sketchbooks from Arteza. And I've been using the 3 of them for different sketching purposes and I really like them. This set cost me $40, which means that each one of these sketchbooks is valued at around $10, which for the quality, it's an incredible deal in my opinion. They have hardback covers that feel really sturdy and high quality, and the watercolor paper is acid-free and heavyweight. And despite being 300 GSM and weighing 140 pounds, the paper feels a lot thicker and higher quality than the Canson sketchbook. The watercolors also dry a lot faster. I'm assuming this might be because this paper has a higher percentage of cotton than the Canson sketchbook, but I can't be sure since I can't find that information in the details of these sketchbooks. But yeah, I highly recommend this if you don't mind spiral sketchbooks. Sticking to Arteza, I also have this set of 2 Arteza A4 sketchbooks. These are meant for dry media, so mostly pencils and ink. This set cost me $20, so again, as the watercolor sketchbooks, that's each sketchbook being worth around $10, which I also think it's an amazing deal, especially since being a size A4, there's a lot more paper, and each sketchbook has 100 sheets, so that ends up being a whopping 400 pages for just $20. Now, these sketchbooks, I like to use them just for my practices and doodles. One of them I use for my art challenges, and as you can see, I even used some watercolor on this paper. Even though it's thin and only meant for dry media, just for practice it works out just fine, the paper won't rip, and I even use the watercolor on both sides. But naturally, I don't really recommend this. These are really just meant for dry media. I'm just mentioning it to show that the paper is actually quite nice. The second sketchbook I use just for doodles, experiments, trying out new art supplies and things like that. One thing to note about this paper, it has a bit of a rough texture and it's quite thin, so it's see-through. You can see here my sketches from the next page, even through the camera. So if you're planning on digitalizing your sketches, then this sketchbook won't be the best for that. But if you want a cheap sketchbook that still has some quality just to practice and doodle, this set is great for that. And with so many sheets of paper, you won't be worried about wasting money and you can sketch as freely as you want and try new things. I hope this was helpful to you and you found something interesting, and you can check my other videos to see me use all these different supplies. Take care!